I first saw her when she was just 5 years old. I was lying there, newly conscious from severe wounds, my body in too much pain to move. She sneaked into the room, placing a steaming bowl of porridge by my bedside, only to trip over the threshold and spill it everywhere. I'm sorry, the little girl said, red-eyed and about to cry. I'll go get you another bowl. I wanted to tell her not to bother, but I couldn't even find the strength to speak. She came every day after that, always tripping, always determinedly bringing a fresh bowl. Until one day, she rushed in excitedly. Mother says she'll teach me about herbs, then I can brew medicine for you. That was the sweetest promise I'd ever heard. Unfortunately, I later lost my memories, and she probably forgot about this too. 15 years later, when she stood at my tea house entrance, I recognized her instantly. Still just as clumsy, still just as flustered. Only this time she wasn't carrying porridge, but poison. You're really going to let her stay in the shop? Elder Lin asked me one day. I smiled. She's been like this since childhood. She can't even deliver porridge without tripping, let alone administer poison. But she's still here to kill you. No, I shook my head. She's here to save me. Sure enough, she began earnestly learning to brew tea. Though still clumsy, she showed an unexpected talent. Her tea always carried a unique fragrance, just like her personality, awkward but sincere. Sometimes watching her failed assassination attempts, I wanted to tell her, I know everything. I know your identity, your purpose, and your inner struggle. But I couldn't say it. I had to wait for her to discover for herself what I already knew, that she was a healer at heart, not a killer. When she accidentally gave me an antidote instead of poison that first time, I almost laughed out loud. That's when I knew for certain. She hadn't changed from that little girl who wanted to help others. Every morning, I would watch her practice brewing tea. She never realized that I was always somewhere nearby, ready to catch her if she stumbled. Sometimes I'd find her asleep at the tea table, surrounded by failed attempts, and my heart would ache with tenderness. That day when she saved Elder Lin, I saw the true healer emerge. She didn't hesitate for a moment, didn't even think about using the situation to her advantage. Her hands may have been shaking, but her heart was steady. Strange, isn't it? Sometimes I wonder if she knows that while she was supposedly hunting me, I was quietly protecting her all along. Every time the Shin family sent someone to check on her progress, I had to find ways to misdirect them without her noticing. The tea ceremony was a risk I had to take. I knew the heart-devouring sect would make their move, but I couldn't tell her my plans. I needed them to believe she was truly there to kill me. Even when I saw her discovering the poisoned tea leaves, I had to pretend not to notice her concern. But when she threw herself in front of that blade, at that moment all my careful plans meant nothing. All I could think about was protecting her. Perhaps this is what they call fate. Like the perfect cup of tea, it requires the right person, the right moment, and most importantly, a sincere heart. Now, watching her treat patients in the courtyard, I often think about how far we've come. She still trips sometimes, still gets flustered when she's nervous, but now she has the confidence of someone who knows her true path. The tea's getting cold. She often reminds me now, a reversal of our early days, and I always answer, we have time, because this time I won't let go. This time, I'll keep my promise to that little girl who once brought me porridge. I had to wait for her to discover it herself, discover that she wasn't a bad person, much less a qualified assassin. She would always carry the kindness of that little girl who wanted to brew medicine for others. Sometimes I wonder, if I had recovered my memories earlier, could I have found her sooner? But then again, perhaps this timing is better. As her mother said, tea is like life, bitterness leads to sweetness. Our reunion was like a carefully brewed cup of tea. It needed the right temperature, the right timing, and most importantly, a pure heart. That day at the tea ceremony, watching her throw herself in front of me without hesitation, I suddenly understood. This was the moment I'd been waiting for her to discover her true nature, to understand what she really wanted to protect.